When the founder of Masienda Tortillas traveled to Oaxaca, Mexico 5 years ago, he was on a quest to learn how to make tortillas in the most authentic way possible. That is when Jorge Gaviria discovered the tastiest tortillas are derived from centuries-old ingredients. Today, Masienda proudly partners with farmers on both sides of the border to source the best materials possible. We caught up with Masienda's founder for our Small Business Spotlight.
My name is Jorge Gaviria. I'm the founder of Masienda, and Masienda is an impact-driven platform for Hispanic foods. Our particular focus has been on corn and masa and that entire value chain because it makes up such a huge portion of Mexican food for sure and the Latin canon overall. I had a curiosity for corn in general, and I just started doing some research around it, and the more I kind of dug into this rabbit hole, the more I realized this was way bigger of a concept and a commodity in need of repair than I could have possibly imagined. The thing that I thought would translate the best if we were to find a really pure flavor was through a tortilla. Because a tortilla really is essentially like two ingredients. It's corn and alkaline water. So, if you have a really high quality, really delicious tasting raw ingredient that goes into it, my hypothesis was this would be the best way to showcase a really dynamic supply chain. The first was the research phase for 6 months, and then from there I just got my hands dirty and went down to Mexico and started to really understand what is the foundation for this this food staple that we kind of take for granted. And I started meeting farmers and really understanding that there was far bigger of an opportunity than I thought. I kind of discovered through this process that there's about 3 million smallholder farmers in Mexico. They grow corn for subsistence purposes, but they're growing not the kind of corn that we're used to in the United States. The approach was just we're gonna make a simple bakery around this. And along the process, I started kind of going around to certain chefs that I'd worked with, and one of them in particular was opening up a restaurant in New York City. And I said, hey, I'm opening up this tortilleria in New York City. Would you be interested in buying tortillas for me when we start, when we're up and running? And he said, well, we're opening pretty soon, and we don't really want to buy tortillas from you. We probably really want to focus on the corn, which was really kind of an eye-opener to me because I realized that there was an actual need for a higher quality product. And so that's how the business started. We kind of scrapped the idea for tortilleria and just focused on building that supply chain for the first 2-3 years. And the work that is so exciting to me is not necessarily about just corn itself. I've realized over the last 5 years since we've been, at it with Masienda that I think the core of what we're trying to do here is to unravel, what is a pretty highly sophisticated or, really well-oiled machine of industrial food and agriculture. And the more you kind of peel back the layers of that onion, the more you realize that there's an amazing art to a lot of the foods that we take for granted. And certainly there's an art to the agriculture that's behind it and kind of at the root of all of it. So, for me, I think corn has been the one object of fascination that I've had for some time now, just thinking about how many pieces of life and culture it touches, but there's so many other examples of that in food that we haven't even touched the surface on.